Hi everyone, welcome to episode 10 of A Sky Full of Stars, where our main character, Akito, is currently alone, thinking about the past. So, he was invited to the stargazing event held by Orihime, Honoka, and Noriko, and even though he did not want to look in the telescope, it looked like Orihime convinced him to. Well, it was hard to turn someone who spent so much effort to prepare for this down. And when he looked inside, he saw the Andromeda Galaxy, and it also reminded him of something. And that caused him to pull back a little. And now he's up the woods to somewhere that we might be able to recognize. Well, it's dark, but if you turn the brightness of your monitor up, you can see where this is. And he did have to skip out on work at the stop and buy convenience store. And even though the lady Miharu was upset about it, but if the reason for skipping out is because of astronomy and stargazing, she's okay with it. So let's see what happens next with Akito up in this quiet area. So the silhouette of a large rectangular shape floated in the darkness, reflecting a bit of the moonlight. It's still here. So what is still here? Did I somehow go back in time as I wandered these woods? Or could it be that this was a special space somehow outside of the normal flow of time? Okay, so the train car. So if you remember from episode 1, Akito as a little child, along with Hikari and Saya, they climbed onto this train top. And that's where they did the observation of the stars and the planet Venus. I climbed up on the platform and stared at the train, stopped here, unchanged after all these years. So yeah, the train is abandoned. It doesn't look like anyone has driven it, and it's just parked here and left to rot. And the station that it's probably parked in has been unused for many years. And because it's too dark, he doesn't know what has changed and what has not changed. The windows were pitch black as well. So the platform was overgrown with weeds and withered ivy twisted over it. But it didn't seem to have changed at all from 4 years ago. So he's going to climb the train car. Okay, so Akito... Okay, I'm just gonna go climb the train car and maybe relive the past that we saw in episode 1. And then he finds someone else also on the train car. So who is this person? So someone was standing on the roof of the train. A girl. The area around us was covered in darkness, and yet that shape seemed to glow, giving off a faint white light that didn't let the darkness near. So the beacon of light. So, bathed in moonlight, she stood there like a prima donna on stage. The goddess of the moon. This uncharacteristic thought rose in my mind, likely because of a earlier conversation. But the real reason for that feeling could have been the way she was standing, her hands raised to the sky. But she was reaching out as if she could catch the stars. Oh, so just like what Akito was doing near the end of episode 9. And then he backed out. And Orihime was kind of confused because he took a very short time on the telescope. I feel like I've seen her somewhere. Where? Oh, that's right. It was the girl I ran into near the station when I was out waiting or walking Kotaru a while back. I remember her ponytails trailing out like the tails of a comet. So he only got a partial glimpse of her. So he only got a partial glimpse of her because she was trying to catch the train. So as he took a close look at her, she noticed that the train was coming, and if she didn't catch the train, the next one would arrive 1 hour later. So before she had a chance to stop and talk to him, she ran off and headed for the train. But she did recognize Kotaro and his barking. And yet, that knowledge didn't shake the godless-like feeling about her. Honestly, meeting her here like this only strengthened her mystique. So I wonder what Akito also notices. The sudden melody coming from my pocket almost gave me a heart attack. It seemed to give the girl standing on the train one as well. So she whipped around to look at me in surprise. So now he has a better look of who this person is, compared to when she was trying to catch the train. I'm not a creeper. I'm not here to, stalk you. I pull out my phone and answer without checking the name of the caller. Hello? Okay, so as he was taking a look at her, his phone went off, and that caught this girl's attention. And now he has to answer the call first. Okay, so Orihime is concerned about Akito, and she noticed that he disappeared from the group, and now she's wondering where he went. That makes sense. Oh, sorry, I just thought I'd take a walk around, and then I wandered off into some unknown space by accident.
ほどでないなら構いませんけど、もう少ししたら引き上げますから。
So it shouldn't be a problem if you aren't lost, but we'll be leaving soon. So it looks like Orihime, Honoka, and Noriko, they're done with stargazing. So it's like we're gonna pack up and head back. Okay, right, I'll be there. So I hung up the phone and looked up to find the girl still staring at me. But while she looked confused at first, now she was staring as if trying to figure something out.
Akito.
Okay, so she recognizes him faintly. And Akito still doesn't know who she is.
Akito だよね。
So you must be Akito, right? How does she know my name? I wonder if it's hard for Akito to tell who this person is. Because he does look familiar in one way or another. And that voice. Okay, so he recognizes her. Oh, Hikari? I called out, half convinced, half unbelieving. So I think it was unconvincing because if she left 4 years ago, how would she be here? So that's a mystery. But anyways, she is Hikari, and she smiles and says, "Bingo!" I was completely confused as she stared down at me with an elated expression and gave me the peace sign. The full moon still bathed her face and her figure in pale light. It was mystical, like some flawless CGI out of a movie, like I was in some bizarre dream, like if it was anything but real. So he's still trying to convince himself that this is Hikari and not some holographic image of her, or the fact that he's having strange thoughts, or he's seeing things. Wait, it can't be. I was completely unable to grasp what was happening. But that voice was unmistakably real. It was Hikari's voice, and one that I knew so well. Oh, it's so good to see you again, Akito. Okay, so this is the opening for A Sky Full of Stars. But I'm just gonna continue from here. Okay, so we're now at the common route. I'm just gonna continue. I'm going to put my cutoff point at where you get to pick which girl you want to go with. Or maybe earlier. Well, depending on what happens down the road. So, let's continue from here. So Gatara notices something strange. So what's wrong? So Kotaro got up, having spotted me walking unsteadily from the station. At his voice, Saya noticed me from the shop's sitting area. Okay, so I wonder what happened to Orihime and the others. I think they left without him, and now he's solo down the hill. I stopped in front of Saya when she came out of the shop, but I could not say anything. Something's wrong. Are you okay? No, I'm fine. So, they thought that, he was going to go with Orihime and the others to go stargazing, but that didn't really work out. But he did find something that he wanted for a long time. Oh, I saw Hikari. So he does tell her what actually happened. And even Saya is puzzled at the response. Yeah, Hikari was there. So you're talking about that Hikari? I nodded without saying anything. But then he kind of doesn't believe it. He still thinks it's a hallucination or something. Or maybe just a dream. And now he's like, well, I think my head's all messed up. Just too many crazy things happening. Especially after looking at the stars with Orihime for a little bit. So, maybe it's my mind going off in crazy ways. So I'm just gonna go get some sleep and hopefully wake up all refreshed. So what kind of response does Saya have? Okay, so he ignores her and just heads off. So Saya's kind of wondering what happened. Even Kotaro is concerned as well. So it's like, well, I saw Hikari, I missed her, but then I kind of wonder if it is the Hikari, or, it's just my imagination. And because of that, he's like, I'll just forget about the rest of the night. I'll just go to sleep and hopefully everything will be alright tomorrow morning. So now it's the next day, and he returns back to, where he used to go, or where he went last night. So he sees this bridge. So is this where I cross? They just told me how to get to school the day before, and I barely remembered it. Looking around, I didn't see another bridge to cross if I didn't take this one. I had two choices. If I took the wrong choice, I'll end up being late for school. And I could cross over here, or I could keep following the river. So maybe find another pathway. Or basically have an idea of where he is. I don't know why he's trying to debate whether to take the bridge or just keep following the river path. And then I heard the sound of light footsteps and someone coming at full speed up the river. Okay, so this is probably the past where he's on his way to school, and as he was trying to find his way to school, he found this bridge and he was thinking that this is probably where he's supposed to cross to get to school. And being little, it's really hard to tell which way to go, and that's why they sometimes get lost. So as he's trying to figure out which way to cross, this girl just bumps into him. And luckily he got out of the way before she ran into him. So they hit it with so much force, I was afraid they would go right over, but they seemed fine. That's when I realized that despite their violent appearance, it was a girl and she was wearing a red backpack. And I figured if I follow her, I would make it to school. So it's like, oh, at least there's somebody that will lead me the way, so I'll just follow her and hopefully she'll show me the right path. That's a good way to navigate, I guess. And just as I was thinking my luck, okay, so she stops and notices what's going on. So the girl stared intently down at the water running below the bridge, not moving a muscle. Okay, so she's not actually going to school, she's actually heading down the riverbanks. Curious, I looked as well. And just under the bridge, I saw cardboard blocks floating slowly downstream. So I wonder what happened. What led the cardboard box to be in the river, polluting the waters? So there was a puppy in it. Oh, poor puppy. The floating box got caught squarely on a rock, sticking out of a river surface. The girl started running full speed, climbing down the river bank. She must have been trying to help the puppy. So I wonder how the puppy got there in the first place. The river wasn't flowing fast, but who knew how long the box would have hung onto that rock? And the rock was out toward the middle of the river. It would be hard to reach out without a boat. So I wonder what happened. Like, how did the dog get there? And why is there a box over there? Did the dog accidentally fall off from something, or someone was committing abuse? Well, the puppy seemed to understand the situation and started to bark like it was urging the girl to hurry. And meanwhile, she searched desperately for some way to reach it. And just then a strong eddy current, or eddy, caught the snag box and shook it fiercely and almost washed away. Okay, so a current just... So a wave of water just rushed down. And the girl seemed to measure the distance between her spot and the rock, and then reached a decision and sat down her backpack. So she's gonna go ahead and rescue the dog. She stopped back from the water line and braced herself. So she set herself for a running start, but then so what happened? She fell flat on her back. And because I grabbed her collar just as she was taking off. So she's gonna go and rescue the dog, but I think Akito noticed the dangers of going into the river water yourself, and he held her back before she could take off, because it may end up that she will get injured as well. You'll never make it. You're not a long jumper. So I think he noticed that she's trying to make a leap over to the platform where the dog is and pick the dog up. But it's like that distance is so far. There's no way anyone like you would have been able to leap that far. So I said helping her up after I stopped her from jumping into the river. So if you fell in, you would end up catching cold. And that's not helping anyone, right? So it kind of reminds me of that Yellowstone Park. They have signs in front of the waterfall. It tells you to be careful. And I think one of the warnings was that the cold currents could freeze you. And I think Akito knows about it, and that's why he's protecting her from injuring herself just for the dog. But I don't think she knows about it yet. Anyways, if you made it, how would you get back? So the other problem is that, okay, so now you have the dog in your hands, but how are you going to bring the dog back to safety? And yourself? And there was no room for a running start on the rock. So maybe he's gonna do the job and save the dog. So the girl looked like she had more she wanted to say, but when she saw the drawing poles in my hand, she swallowed it down and moved away. So I borrowed it from a house nearby. So I think he's going to use the fishing rod and use it to fish the dog back onto the shores. So I stepped to the water edge and reached out as far as I could. Or maybe it's just some kind of like antenna pole. He's just using it to lift the box from the isolated rock and use it to carry it over to the banks. But anyways, I held the pole in one hand and stretched as far as I could, but it was just a little too short. Okay, so he's actually used a pole. It's used to hold like clothes when you dry them after washing them. But the pole is not long enough to reach the platform where the dog is, or the piece of rock. So she's telling the dog to basically hold still, help is on the way. Okay, hold on to my other hand. Okay. So I had her hold onto my left arm and I leaned out onto the river, reaching out with the pole. So it's gonna stretch a little further and have this girl be the support. Okay, a little more. Almost there. So I hooked the end of the pole onto the edge of the box. Okay, so it looks like he made it. And all I have to do is pull it in, but I couldn't get any leverage in that position. So I think it's too far out to the water and he needs some help reeling back in. In fact, with all the jostling from the pole, the box was working loose from the rock. So it looks like it's going to go free, and now the river currents are going to be pushing it away from Akito. So this is a really bad situation. Uh-oh. No, I won't let you. So I stepped into the river and somehow got the pole hooked onto the box, keeping it from getting washed away. Okay, so he did have to go into the river a little bit, but at least he got the pole onto the box, so the dog should be fine. My arms trembling, I carefully maneuvered the box to the riverbank. Come on. Come on! The girl lifted the puppy out in her arms. Okay, so the dog is saved. It looks like Akito was able to reel the dog back onto the riverbanks. So I wonder what happened. What got the dog to be strangled or stranded in a box that's onto a rock in the middle of the river? So the girl hugged the dog, looking weak with relief. The puppy must have been terrified as well, because now it lay quietly in her arms. I flopped down on the ground, mind and body completely worn out. I'm beat. Oh, thank you so much, you saved him. When she thanked me, I got my first proper look at her face. She was crying a little, probably from relief. When she first come running up like that, I mistaken her for a boy, but looking at her now, she was obviously a girl and a cute one as well. And that expression, both smiling and crying at the same time, really seemed to suit her. Well, we only just met, but she was making me think of the strangest things. There was nothing really, I answered bluntly. I was slightly embarrassed by the whole knight in shining armor thing. So is this dog yours? So I wonder whose dog is it? And so she noticed something wrong. She's a dog stranded, and that's why she wanted to save the dog, but she went a little bit too far and was going to sacrifice herself to do so. But thankfully Akito was here and thought of a smarter way to save the dog. And safer way. So the puppy and the girl looked worriedly at my pants. They were soaking wet. The fact that I had to go into the river to get this box onto the riverbank. It's fine. It's nothing really. And plus, it will dry, so don't worry. Well, I said, to tell the truth, the November river was really cold, so it felt cold. What about your shoe? Uh-oh. So, he lost his right shoe. I guess it got washed away. The girl jumped up and ran to look for it, but it was gone. I could bear this cold, but missing a shoe was kind of a problem. But in wise sense, the idea is that if you lose a shoe, you can always buy a new shoe, and that'll solve the problem. Ah well, when you consider it's the price for saving a puppy's life, it's a good deal. Yeah, so the fact that, well, puppy, it's alive, it's more important. If you lose a shoe, you can always buy a new one from the store, and it's alright. Okay then, I'm gonna get going. Oh, wait a second. So what else does she have with, Akito? So she looked back and forth from me to the puppy, panicking a bit. She clearly had only thought of saving it, not what to do afterwards. And I picked my stuff up from the bank. I showed him my backpack in a long, thin, cylindrical case. Oh, I better, return the diving pole. Okay, so I think she wants to talk to him a little bit more, and he's like, "Oh, I'm busy. I'll see you later." So first he has to give back the diving pole, and he probably has to get to class, because then this kind of costed him extra time. Oh, which way is the school? Do I cross the bridge? So, he just randomly asked her the question, and obviously she's not going to be able to answer it. He just popped it up. He's like, "Oh, tell me which way the school is." Oh, thanks. See you. So 1 foot bare, I turned to head to school. Because I think she did tell him which way to go. And sadly, she was hoping to be able to talk to him a little bit more. Okay, so, Akito made it to school, and it was quite noisy. The students all stared as I stood in front of the blackboard. And I think he didn't come in properly dressed because of that dog incident. And in a sense, he kind of gave a pretty bad impression to all these classmates. And because the class is small, pretty much you get noticeable. So each grade only had one class, but still, the whole 5th grade only had that many people. I think it's a small school, and plus this is a very rural, quiet town. So obviously there won't be that many people. Okay, let's all quiet down, little kids. Okay, so I think this is Akito's first day at this school, and Miharu is. So she was the teacher back then, and she had Akito introduce himself to the class. Okay, so my name is Akito Sarami. Nice to meet you. I tried to make myself look intimidating so that no one would mess with me. Okay. A boy who looked at me like he was the class bully stared at me, clearly not liking me already. And what's with the bandage on his nose? And from somewhere else, a hand shot up. So someone else raised her hand. And even though it wasn't time for questions, the girl raised her hand so eagerly that the confused teacher called on her. Okay. The hand's owner stood excitedly. Her vigor made her chair crash into the desk behind her, and the girl sitting there let out a small cry. Okay, so that's Hikari, and she was the one that was trying to talk to Akito after he saved the dog in the river. And for some reason, Akito gives a blank response. I guess that she was waiting for me to react with, oh, it's the girl from before. I think that's what she really wants. But I just stared expressionless. But then you can conclude that, well, Akito's shy, he's not used to all these new students yet, so. I even tilted my head to side a bit and looked confused. So the other students are wondering why Hikari is openly welcoming her, like introducing herself to Akito. It's like and yes, this Take charge boy is teasing Hikari. Since I didn't offer any reply, Hikari looked kind of silly, getting all excited over a new kid. Oh, no, it's not like this. We met in the morning, but I didn't get a chance to get his name. Okay, so Take charge is like, he forgot you, so haha. Hey, at least Hikari's able to stand up against this Take bully. So teacher's like, okay, well, let's talk about this later. Okay, everyone, please do try to get along with Akito, like Hikari here. Yes, ma'am. And obviously, Take charge boy would be sarcastically saying that. Yes, I'll do it. But in reality, we know how it works. Okay, so your desk is in the middle of the back. Okay.
教科書の87ページから。
Okay, so Miharu's gonna continue class, even though Hikari is trying to make sure everyone understands what actually happened and not that she's trying to confront Takecharge about oh look, I know who this person is and the such. Okay, I guess I'll stop here. I was trying to fit all of the past event into this episode, but I can see that my time is running a little bit too long. So what's happening is that Akito is trying to remember the past when he first met Hikari, which was when it was his first day at this school, and he got lost and was trying to find his way, and then he knows Hikari, and he thought she would lead him the correct way to school. But then she was actually trying to rescue the dog. She saw the dog stranded in the box in the middle of the river. And even though Hikari was going to risk her life to rescue the dog, well, thankfully Akito was around and used a safer and easier method to rescue the dog. And thankfully it's saved. And we do see some of the things that kind of connect to current times. So Miharu was an elementary school teacher, and you can see that she's all happy. But then, somehow, between then and now, she got unemployed, and now she's all depressed, moody, ungratefully working at her parents' stop-and-buy convenience store. And I have a feeling that Take bully with the bandage on his nose, he's Takeichi now. And I think he grew out of bullying. And maybe the dog that Hikari was trying to save, that's Kotaro. But we'll see if those ideas are correct. So with that in mind, I'll see you in episode 11.